Okay, in another video about appearance and astrology, I'll be using Tyra Bank chart, and as you can see, this is her tropical chart. And if you look closely, you'll see that there's a Saturn in the first house, and there's a Venus in the seventh house. Both these planets play a major role in her appearance and even her becoming a model. So first, let me talk about the Saturn in the Cancer sign. Saturn represents things that we have to manage, administer, take control over. Saturn also represents older people. It represents bones as well. Saturn is also represented by the Capricorn sign, right? Capricorn originally rules the 10th house. The 10th house is about things like career, professionalism, fame for your career, or public recognition for your career. So if you're walking on the street, someone may not know who you are personally, but they know what you do for your career. This is what things like Saturn would normally represent. One of the major things that Saturn also represents is delay, restrictions, limitations, things that makes us feel uncomfortable or gives us discomfort. Whereas the first house represents your appearance, it could be the way you dress. It could also be your overall body structure, like your height. Are you a fat or a skinny person? I think that's represented solely by the first house. The first house also represents your hair and your skin. So things like your skin color, the hairstyles you use, that is helped determined by the first house. Most importantly, the first house represents your personality. I don't know why, but whenever Saturn is in the first house, especially, and it could be the same effects if it's in the seventh house, I would notice a person tends to be skinny for some reason. Like they tend to have a skinnier body frame. I don't know why. For example, Kendall Jenner has Saturn in the first house, Barack Obama also, and you could see they have a skinny body type. Maybe it's because Saturn represents older people. And I don't know, older people, as you get older, your muscles tend to lose body mass for some reason. I can't remember exactly why, but your muscles tend to hold less water or something like that. I haven't tested it as much, but if you go by the basis, Saturn represents things like delay, restrictions, limitations, boundaries, and the first house is your physical body. Whenever Saturn is in the first or the seventh house, a person is more likely to become someone that is very lazy, not move around much, which won't give them an athletic body type. What Saturn in the first or the seventh house will most likely do, though, is that since Saturn represents the 10th house things, like career, it makes someone wanna have an appearance that is always looks professional. So they tend to dress up in suits or dresses. They always want to look professional. So someone with Saturn in the first or the seventh house will take their appearance very seriously. They always want to look neat and on point. They're not the type of people that would dress up sloppy or anything like that. Not just with how they dress, but their hairstyles as well. They want their hairstyles to look neat and not out of place. Saturn represents the 10th house people, like your bosses in your work environments, your managers, your supervisors, your superiors at work. And you know, those tend to be people that are like CEOs and stuff like that. Or, like I just mentioned, your managers or supervisors. The first house represents you. So, you, or in Tyra Bank's case, Tyra would take on the image or the persona of someone that has a high authoritative position based on the way she dresses. Even if she doesn't have that, even if she has a low position in whatever her career field is, she would dress up as if she has a high position, as if she is the owner or the boss of a company. This is why people with Saturn in the first or the seventh house would dress up in name tags and stuff a lot. Saturn shows what we have to administer, structure, organize, and take control over. So when it's in the first or the seventh house, a person like Tyra Banks will put their efforts in trying to organize how they dress, how they look. Maybe even the body weight. Is their body weight okay? I don't know if this placement makes someone go on a diet, but it makes them pay a lot close attention to how their appearance is. Because what Saturn would make them do is it would make them try to take control over their appearance. They want to make sure that it's structured, it looks organized.
You know what is so cool every Halloween? I love seeing people dress up. It's so funny. I've been dressing up for so long, starting as a model when I was like 15 years old. So, like, dressing up for me, I'm like, oh, Lord, I gotta do hair and makeup. I gotta. But then I see.
See, you have to remember that Saturn represents discipline. The reason why it represents delay also is because in order to gain discipline with something, you have to have less of it and less access to it so that when you do gain lots of assets to whatever it represents or what was limited to you, you know how to deal and how to control and how to take advantage of what is now granted to you. So in this case scenario, since we're dealing with the first house, that could be things like getting clothes, hair products, skin products. A person will know how to deal with their body because throughout the years of growing up in their early 20s or whatever, Saturn would make them know how to structure their own body, know how to what their body needs and what their body dislikes. What they may be the type of people that knows about their allergies and stuff like that. Some people cannot wear certain type of clothing or use certain type of hair products because their body reacts in a negative way. So someone with Saturn in the first or the seventh house would know exactly how their body would react, and they would do whatever it takes to try to take control of that situation. This means how some people like Tyra Banks, who's a model, they tend to have stylists. This means Tyra Banks is someone that becomes her own stylist. She wants to have full control over how she does things, and she automatically does get that. Because, like I mentioned, Saturn shows what we have to administer, so she takes control over her entire appearance. You know, she has a lot of that deciding factor because she becomes the boss. Remember, Saturn represents the tenth house. She becomes that superior over her own body, her own appearance. Tyra's Saturn is in the Cancer sign. Cancer shows our emotions, what we care about, and what makes us sensitive. So, what Saturn there does is it delays her emotions, making her a person that is less likely to be more emotional to certain things. Now, how does this lack of emotions come out in her appearance? It's simple. You have some people that they wear certain campaign shirts, and the campaign could be for good causes, good reasons, like the PETA, where the organization that tells people to not eat animals and stuff like that. Tyra Banks could be someone that supports those organizations, but she most likely would feel uncomfortable to actually wear the shirt representing those types of organizations. Another example could be her wearing stuff that is offensive. She would obviously know that what she's wearing is offensive, but she doesn't really care because the emotions are limited by Saturn. So her caring about how if she dresses will offend anybody The care for that isn't even there. Another example could be how Saturn shows what makes us uncomfortable. Saturn also represents anxiety and fears. So, in the first house, it can make someone be uncomfortable in their own skin, making them have a more so introverted personality where they want to hide their appearance, making them a person that doesn't like to be seen a lot. Then, since it aspects the seventh house of interaction with strangers, she is a person that most likely doesn't feel comfortable interacting with a lot of strangers, despite Venus being in the seventh house. The Venus there wouldn't. The Venus in the seventh house makes someone love interacting with strangers, but Saturn would take control and limit that love for strangers that Venus would bring. A clear cut, easy way to see why she was a model is simple. It's because of that Venus in the seventh house in the Capricorn sign. Capricorn represents your work environment, your career, and public recognition for your career. Venus shows what we design. It represents arts. So it's carrying all of this energy in its arts back to the first house of appearance. So it's making her be someone that designs uh, outside appearance to enhance her career or to increase her public image, or she designs her physical body to gain more public recognition for her career. Another example could be since it's in the seventh house of business, right? And tenth house is work environments. Venus is about designing things. So this could show someone that who owns those brick and mortar style of businesses, like a Walmart, for example. And then around Christmas time, people would design or renovate their business to adapt to the holidays or for whatever reason. So Tyra Banks would be a person that would often occasionally design her businesses. And one of the reasons why she would design her businesses is to enhance her public image and to gain more public recognition for her career. I remember she was a judge too on America's Next Top Model. I mean, I kind of watched it, but I was young as hell, so I didn't know what was really going on. You see that Venus in the Capricorn sign in the house of interactions with other strangers, including business partners. So easily, that could show that she was a person that loves seeing discipline from strangers, meaning she doesn't want strangers to be uncoordinated. She likes strangers to be people that have a lot of structure, that are more organized. Another thing too, with Venus in the first or the seventh house, that makes someone for some reason be attractive to a lot of people, especially strangers in this case scenario. And I don't know why it causes that, but it's simple in a way because Venus shows what turns us on, and Venus shows what we love, what we like. So in the seven house of interactions with other strangers, this shows how strangers would interact with her in the public. So she could be at a grocery store and strangers would tend to love interacting with her. The only issue is that the Saturn in the first house could limit those interactions with strangers. And since Saturn is a seven house ruler or seven house lord, that shows endorsement deals, brand deals, strangers, they come to her. So in a way, that's a bit of a fan placement. Another thing too is if you look at a tenth house, you see that Mars is in the Aries sign, conjunct the moon. Mars shows what we put our energy into doing, and Aries is about the physical body. So in our work environments, which the tenth house represents, it could show in our work environments that that could be someone that protects people's physical body, like a security. But obviously, that wasn't the case for her. What this Mars and Aries does is that it makes her put a lot of her energy into her physical body. So I guess that makes her try to appear as someone with a lot of fitness. So if you have Mars in Aries in the 10th house, that could make you someone that's like a fitness model. In our work environments, because of that Mars, she will have to use a lot of her physical energy whenever at work. For example, there are people that sit down in offices and they don't do too much physical activity. This would be the opposite for Tyra Banks. But as you can see, a lot of those physical activities was towards the physical body and appearance because Aries represents the first house names that I just mentioned. As you can see, the birth chart, even for career, requires a lot of things to look into, and there has to be a lot of combinations. Things in the birth chart has to confirm a lot of other things for it to be cemented. As you can see, the birth chart, even for career, requires a lot of things to look into, and there has to be a lot of combinations. Things in the birth chart has to confirm a lot of other things for it to be cemented. You know what? Follow me on the other apps. More videos to come.